Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys, because coming up today, we are going to be talking about football. We are going to be talking about going out there on the field and what we're going to see from Barcelona, because quite honestly, over the past few weeks during this summer, I found it quite difficult. I think at times, particularly right now, it's honestly depressing to hear the reports coming out there about players consistently refusing to leave the club, the financial difficulties that we know that we're in, and we're all aware of this. But what I would like to talk about is the football. It seems to have been lost recently, but as we approach the new season, and especially there ahead of pre-season, let's talk now about what Ronald Koeman may be planning, focusing there on the front three. Let's do it. Because indeed, over the past few days in the Spanish media, there has been a lot of talk about Ronald Koeman's plans and exactly what he's going to do there in terms of the players who are coming in this summer, how he's going to integrate them into his team, and especially what kind of formation he is going to go with next season. And in particular, I want to bring you there a report from Luis Canet, who, remember there, is one of the journalists in Spain who is closest to Ronald Koeman. We've heard a lot in the past from Canet when he's reported there on Koeman's future, when he's reported there on transfers and things like that, and usually what he says comes from very close to Koeman, and it often proves to be true. So that is the report that we're going to be focusing on in today's video to try and get some insight into what Koeman's planning. Because the first thing that Canet had to say there in his report is, first of all, that Sergio Aguero is coming to the club this season and he is not joining as a substitute. He's not coming here to be a backup player. He's not coming here to be a fringe player. Aguero is going to be somebody who, providing, of course, that he's fit, that is one of the things with Aguero that can often leave him in the balance. He's got to be fit, he has to be prepared to play, but if he is going to be in that starting lineup. And I would also hope there that would depend on his form. We've got to see, of course, how he integrates into this team. We've seen him combine at Copa America well with Lionel Messi, but we've got to see that again in a Barcelona shirt. But Aguero, according to Canet, he is somebody who's going to come in and he is going to play from the start. What Canet also has to say is that he believes Ronald Koeman next season will play a 4-3-3 formation. And that is very, very interesting indeed to me, because obviously when Ronald Koeman first arrived at Barca, we saw a very, very similar shape and a similar system to what he was using at the Netherlands, a 4-2-3-1 formation. And that is one of the systems that we have seen right throughout Koeman's time at the club. But of course, we did see it towards the end of the season switched out there to accommodate a back three. And we're all wondering coming into this season, is Koeman again going to go with three centre-backs? Because like I've said before, the reason for me that he shifted to that formation was that he didn't trust his centre-backs enough to play with the two. Has that changed now this season? Are we going to see an extra man in midfield? Are we going to see an extra man up front? Very possible, because Canet says 4-3-3, that's how we'll start. Now, the structuring of that front line, according to Canet, has already been decided. Ronald Koeman, in his mind right now, already knows the three players who are going to occupy those three attacking spaces. Number one there, in the centre-forward position, it is going to be Sergio Aguero. Koeman there, counting on Sergio to give him something that he didn't really have last season. He didn't really have that kind of profile in his team, whereby it's a poacher. It's somebody there who's looking to be in the very final third there, staying consistently there on the shoulder, stretching opposition defences. That's really, really important there in Aguero's job. To the right of Aguero, apparently taking up there a right-wing role, it is going to be Lionel Messi. Of course, we assume that Messi is going to be at Barca next season. Koeman is very much planning for that, although his renewal hasn't yet taken shape. It will happen. I assure you of that, guys. The club will not rest until Messi is registered and available for this club. No matter what has to happen before that, it will happen to get that done. And to the left, this is the interesting part for me. You've got Aguero, you've got Messi, and then to the left, apparently, it's going to be Memphis Depay there, making up a front three of Memphis on the left, Aguero down the middle, and Messi from the right. But before we look into that front three in a little bit more detail and look at the strengths and also the weaknesses I feel from that particular trio, let's discuss there the people who are not, as of right now, included in Koeman's first plans for that 4-3-3. There's no Ansu Fati, at least not right now, and that for me is a little bit of a surprise. I think the only thing right now with Ansu is, of course, that it is going to take him time to get fully back up to speed. Of course, you can have their match fitness. He can be ready to play play, he can be fully recovered, but it's then about getting that match sharpness. You've got to get used to, again, playing competitive games, having that edge about you, being ready to perform, and of course we're all hoping that Ansu comes back in and he can show what we saw before. We really, really hope that he's the same player. We hope that he can recapture his best level, and if he does that for me, if we see the best of Ansu, the Ansu that we saw at the start of last season, he's in that team. There is no doubt about that for me. If he comes back and he's performing, he's in the lineup. No mistake at all. But another man that is not there and may not even be at the club next season, yes, it's Antoine Griezmann. There have been plenty of reports right now that Koeman doesn't really see Antoine Griezmann in part of his plans for next season. The club right now are exploring all of the options, and I do believe that Griezmann's situation has a direct link there with what's been happening with Ousmane Dembélé. Of course, with Dembélé, we know that he's injured. We know that for that reason, he cannot leave now this summer. We cannot sell him. We cannot use him there to generate those funds. So potentially now, that will fall upon Griezmann. We know that he's a very, very high earner at the club. Second only to Messi in terms of his wages. They are extremely, extremely high. Barca would love to not have that burden anymore. But you've got to find the destination for Griezmann. You've got to find somebody out there who would not only pay those wages, but also pay a very significant transfer fee. And the only real link that we've had of any substance recently has been with Man City. Apparently, they're according to several reports, Man City are very keen on Harry Kane. They want to bring him in from Tottenham. He is their primary centre-forward target. But if they can't get Kane, which won't be easy from Tottenham really not looking to let him go, if they can't get him, maybe Griezmann could be deemed as an alternative. And Man City, we know, have the money to make that possible. But of course, the big question is that front three of Aguero, Memphis, Messi, the rumoured there starting three in Koeman's attack according to Canna, is that enough? Is that going to give us what we need in a Barcelona team? And let's just talk here about the strengths and weaknesses and what this trio can give us. Because first of all, what I would like to say is that I do like the kind of profile that Aguero brings us in this team. We didn't have that kind of player last season. We lacked it. We needed somebody of that kind of nature there to be on the end of things. We don't need him to be coming in here. We don't need somebody to do that when you've got Messi. You need somebody there who's going to be on the last man, who's going to be consistently there looking for balls in and around the area, looking to get on the end of things, looking to put chances away. The very final piece of the jigsaw, Aguero, can certainly be useful in that centre-forward area. The problem then comes, though, for me, when you're talking about Messi and when you're talking about Memphis here, as wingers. Because as we know, they're not really going to stay out there. You know full well that Messi is not going to stay out here like he did maybe in his younger days. He's going to come central and he's going to play directly in behind Aguero. And then, of course, is the question, much like we've had over the years with Griezmann, well, what are you going to do with Memphis then? Is he going to stay out here on the left-hand side? Potentially, if you give him specific requests to do so. And of course, let's not forget, Koeman does know Memphis well. If there's anybody there that can tell him to do a certain job, who knows what Memphis is capable of doing, it is Koeman, so we can give him there the benefit of the doubt, but he has to be disciplined, because what we cannot see, what you cannot see with this front three is Aguero there central, Messi coming inside. You can't have Memphis there too. You cannot have Memphis there coming into a crowded central position, because then you've got no width. You would then have to drag somebody like Frenkie de Jong out wide. He's not going to be doing his best work there. We know that is not something that is suitable for him. Of course, you've got Pedri, who can drift out here. That is something that we have seen work in the past. And of course, you will be relying heavily again on your fullbacks to provide that width. But I just think here, you've got to be very, very disciplined when you're talking about Memphis Depay, Aguero and Messi all in that same front line. And the other concern that I would have is about pressing. We know that as a Barcelona team, in order there to protect our defence, in order here to keep our midfield nice and disciplined and make sure that we're winning the ball back as high up the pitch as we possibly can, we know that these three players, they've got to press. Now, we know that Messi is getting on in his career. He may not be able to do that as intensely as he once did. Aguero, is he going to be able to do that? He's in a very similar stage of the career to Messi. And Memphis is a player who, yes, will work hard, but that technically there is one out of your three. One out of your three there pressing, it's not really enough. And they would need a lot of help there from your midfield. You need the defence to get really, really high to help out with that sort of pressing. And I think that front three there, it has quality individually. Memphis, Aguero, Messi, extremely good players, fantastic players in front of goal. But in terms of the team, in terms of the whole function of the system, you've got to have discipline. Koeman here will need to figure out exactly what Memphis' role is going to be. Aguero will need to stay fit. He will need to press. He will need to work hard. And of course, we've got to get a good midfield behind them. And more importantly than anything else, a solid back four. And of course, guys, like always in these sorts of situations, I'm very, very interested to know what you feel there of those potential plans from Ronald Koeman. How would you see a front three there of Memphis, of Aguero, of Lionel Messi? How would you see that there working out on the field? Are there any changes? Are there any different solutions that you would have heading into the new season? And of course, right now, it's all about getting prepared. We are entering here a very important period. Pre-season is coming. We've got lots of transfer speculation, lots of doom and gloom around the club. But at the end of it all, it's about going out on the pitch, having a concrete plan, having a tactical plan, something that last season we didn't always have. This season, we need to see that from Koeman. And what do you make of those early plans? I will see you soon, guys, with more videos to come. I hope you enjoyed here a little bit of an escape, a little bit of a getaway from all of the news surrounding us right now. But still, I will see you soon to keep you updated. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.